Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dayna, in case you are new. This is Dayna Creates, and today I have a special video for you. It is actually Christmas Eve that I am posting this video for, and I want to talk about family traditions, whether that is conventional family traditions or if your family is unconventional. I don't think it matters. I think it's just about making family memories and carrying those traditions over the years and passing them on from generation to generation. And that's what I want to talk about today. So first of all, go make sure you've subscribed and click on the little bell so that you can watch future videos of ours, and then come right back and we're going to talk about family traditions. All right, so first of all, I want to talk about traditions that we do in our family right now. My husband and I have 4 girls, and we have been married for 17 years. Our oldest daughter is 13, and we range from 13, 11, 8, and 5. And we have tried to start traditions and carry them on through the years. And I just think it's really fun to have traditions in your family, and a lot of that, I would say 90% of that, is because of the traditions that I have from my family and from my husband's family growing up that mean a lot to me from my childhood, and I want to give that to my kids, whether they're the same traditions that I had as a child or they're different ones. I want to give my kids and my husband and I the experience of having traditions, whether it's during the holidays or the summertime, but we think of that more often during the holidays. I want to give that to my children so that they can then pass that down to their children. I'm going to break this up into 2 different sections. I'm going to talk a little bit about our current family traditions that we do here in our family right now and what we have kind of created over the past couple years. And then stay tuned to the end because I have a story to read. My brother actually wrote this, so thank you, Jared. He wrote this when he was back in high school right after this event happened for our childhood. So this is a tradition that happened for us growing up that has been carried forward through the years. So stay tuned to the end, and I'll share with you a story of my childhood traditions and why they all mean so much to me. So let's just go right into family traditions that we have in our family. I'm not going to talk about all of our traditions. I'm just going to talk about some of the fun ones that we have done, especially since we have kids. I like to give them Christmas pajamas right after Thanksgiving so that they can wear them throughout the Christmas holiday. I think that's kind of fun. I also like to have a Christmas advent calendar. It's actually right up here on the shelf. They don't know it, but actually you're seeing this on Christmas Eve, so it'll be empty by the time you see this video. But right now I'm filming it the very 1st of December, and they get to start opening that on Sunday. So it's filled with chocolate and candy, and they can open that calendar up and have a little snack every single day. And that's just kind of a fun advent calendar that they do every single year. That is a fun tradition for us. And then I have another serious side to an advent calendar. It's the 25 Days of Christ that we have little bags for, and they each have ornaments that represent something of Christ and the story of his birth and the meaning of Christmas. And they all have something associated with the holiday season. There is a quote, there is a scripture, and then there's a link to a video that we watch every single day of the 25 Days of Christ leading up to the day of Christmas. So that's a fun tradition that we have been doing for the past couple years, and it's something that brings the focus of Christmas back to Christ, which is for us in our faith the most important part of Christmas. Other fun traditions that we do are gingerbread houses, candy making. I make fudge every year. That's passed down from my mother. She has a recipe that's called Remarkable Fudge. Those are kinds of things that I grew up with, and I wanted to, again, pass those down to my children, so I think it's fun to do those kinds of traditions. Other traditions are places to go. We have a holiday break. We have time off of work and off of school, and our family likes to get into the snow, and we don't have snow here in Seattle. And so we actually have to go out of town about an hour and a half away and get into the snow, and we go and play and sled, and whether we go with friends or just us as a family. And then we also go to a little Bavarian town called Leavenworth out in eastern Washington and see all the Christmas lights and all that festivity. But we also stay local. We go to Seattle, and we go to the carousel, and we go and see the Christmas tree, where we go and see the gingerbread houses at a hotel. These kinds of traditions are ones that our kids look forward to every single year, and that means something to me. That means that we're enjoying our time together as a family, regardless of what we're doing. And that's just really fun. Okay, so I'm going to preface this with, I'm probably going to cry because this is a tender memory of mine and my family's. This is not my version of the story. This is our version of the story. My brother wrote this story for high school right after it happened. But everything in this story is a true depiction of what we went through. It's just a lot of it is his perspective of it, but it all happened and it all, you'll see. So I'm just going to read his story. So I do have to look down. I want to get the story correct and the true feeling of the story. So I apologize ahead of time for looking down, but you'll see why I needed to make sure that I read it. The title of this, I'm already going to cry, is called The Best Christmas Ever. It can't be Christmas, I thought to myself as I lay on the sofa, gazing out at the frosted window. Outside, the seemingly lifeless trees stood miserably veiled in the misty, freezing fog. The thought of leaving the house made me shiver, and I shrunk into a fetal position on the couch. I wasn't depressed, just disillusioned. Here it was, Christmas Eve day, and our family had no special plans to celebrate the holiday. No caroling, no candy making, nothing. There would be the usual journey to Grandma and Grandpa's house on Christmas Day. That always brightened my spirits. But not even that seemed very appealing to me. I was preparing myself for what was to be, at least in my mind anyway, the worst Christmas I would ever have. My eyes glazed over as my mind drifted back to Christmases past. I reminisced of Christmas tree shopping and trying to find the perfect tree. When we found one we loved, Mom would look at the price tag and say, "It won't fit in the living room." So we would keep looking, not fully understanding her logic. When we finally found the perfect tree, we would load it onto the roof of our station wagon. I can still see Dad tying it on top using the most intriguing loops and knots, some of which may have actually been real knots with real names. The rest of the evening was spent decorating the tree. Each of the 8 children, yes, there's 8 of us, in our family would be given their own ornaments to hang based on their age and how breakable the ornament was. At last, the time would come to place the star upon the highest bough. Dad would choose one of us munchkins based on who had been the most cooperative and lift him or her high into the air toward the top branch. A few times he lost his balance and nearly fell into the tree. With the star perched atop of the tree, we would stand back and admire it, pointing out what each of us had done. It was always beautiful and always better than the last year's tree. Even our cats would come into the room to see what their humans were doing, and they too were impressed. There was none of that splendor in the tree that slouched before me now. Its highest bough was barely out of reach of my 12-year-old sister. That's me. And there were very few breakable ornaments adorning the dying branches. The house in which we were living at the time was small, way too small for a family of 10. The tree, along with the dining room table, nearly filled the combined small living and dining room area. There just wasn't enough room for anything more than a small tree with a small present or two for each of us underneath it. As I looked at it, I began to wonder if there was something different about it, but I couldn't put my finger on it. Was it the lights? No, the lights were the same. Aha, the ornaments. Are they in different places? No, they're okay too. What is it, I thought, almost aloud. I stared at that tree for what seemed like an eternity, but I couldn't tell what was different about it. Once again, my mind wandered off, this time to the future. I envisioned how Christmas was going to be in the new house that we were building. I pictured in my mind the entire family gathered around listening to a Mannheim Steamroller at Christmas. As we decorated the tree of all trees, how would it be to be there now? I pondered. Just then, I remembered the fudge. that was left over from the Christmas party we'd attended the night before. I had been looking forward to eating it ever since the 4th period in school, and I had forgotten all about it. Finally, I murmured, getting up off the couch. Something good just happened. I opened the fridge door and froze, staring at an empty plate. The plastic wrap, dangling precariously from one edge of the plate, was twitching slightly in the cool breeze of the fan. It's gone, I thought miserably, as I removed the crumbless plate from the shelf. The one thing that would have lifted my spirits and eased my cravings was gone. I could have cried. From the living room came the heavy thud of the front door being firmly shut. Mom appeared in the kitchen a few seconds later. She chuckled to herself when she saw me holding the empty plate and walked back toward her bedroom. She came out a minute later with not 1, but 2 pieces of fudge in her outstretched hand. Then she gave me her famous, "Buck up, little camper, it's going to be okay" look. Later that evening, as we all vegged out in front of the TV, Mom suggested that we go into town to see the lights on Main Street. Conceding the fact that there was nothing better to do, and being slightly bribed, we all piled into our van. No one said a word until we got to the stoplight at the edge of town. As the van eased over into the left turn lane, I looked over at Mom and said, "Why are you turning? We're already on Main Street." "Shh, just be quiet," she said. We headed up the road, past the hospital, past the gas station, the car wash, and finally past the chapel. I looked over at Mom, and what was she doing? She was grinning the biggest, cheesiest grin I had ever seen. I had an idea what was up, but I said nothing. As we rounded the corner and approached our nearly completed house, I was thrilled to see that I was exactly right. There were lights hanging from the eaves, and a tree, a big tree, was glowing brightly from the living room window. Dad's car was in the driveway, which revealed the truth about why he had left earlier that day, saying that he had to go to work. I walked through the front door and instantly realized what was wrong with the other tree. Some of the presents had been brought over from underneath it and placed beneath this tree. In the middle of the unpainted, uncarpeted living room sat a candlelit table with several plates full of all kinds of candies and cakes. A punch bowl full of a pinkish drink that tasted like minty Sprite sat in the center of the table. After eating enough to last me the entire year and opening the gifts under the tree, Dad suggested that we read the Christmas story from the Bible. But in the excitement of the evening, he had forgotten to bring chairs for us to sit on. He also forgot that there were no light fixtures in the house yet. So we took the candles from the table and gathered together on the uncarpeted stairway to listen to the story. While he was reading, I glanced over at Mom, smiled, and mouthed the words, "Thank you." That year, we shared the best Christmas ever. In one form or another, my family has read the scriptures on the stairs. Although there are 35 of us now, we as a family have not been back to see that during the holidays. For about 8 years, we haven't been able to go back home. But in some way, shape, or form, my family still reads the Christmas story together. Not by candlelight, because we burned hair and had problems with the carpet, but by flashlights or pre-lit candles. This is why I carry family traditions. These memories that we have as our family can't be bought. They can only be passed down. I bring you this and our holiday wishes to you at this holiday time, that you will carry your memories with your family and your friends and your loved ones with you in your heart and share them with those around you. Thank you very much, you guys. Merry Christmas and happy holidays. Take care. Goodbye.